A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Nerf Secrets Revealed Aftersought. So today, I was really hoping to be able to review another blaster from the Alpha Strike series, known as the Uppercut, or as I would know it as the Uinta. But unfortunately, I should clarify really quickly that I can't do so. And the reason being is that, well, it's had a bit of a delayed release time, and its status at this point isn't necessarily helping much. So I'm just going to go on ahead and find something new to talk about. And what I got here to talk about, well, is simply put, probably the first blaster that I've ever brought into Aftersought from Elite 2.0, or as I know it as the Super. Because after all, no 2.0 could ever truly beat a 1.0. So the Elite lineup stays as it is, but this is the Super lineup. This is in fact the Super Commander. Even though Commander's also taken as well, so Super Corrector is pretty much what I've given an obligable name to this blaster. It's much obliged at this point, but there's quite a few things that I got to say about this blaster. Because first of all, this thing can hold itself a grand total of 6 darts. Similar to that of the Maverick Rev 6, Strong Arm, Icequake, Spylight, and a handful of others. I mean, this does have a lot of bearing, uncanny resemblance to that of many other Rev 6 style Nerf blasters out there. However though, it's got a little priming handle on the top here, much like the Spectre Rev 5 or any of the others out there at the time. Okay, that was kind of a dud, but okay, that one misfired. There we go. Anyways, the Corrector in and of itself is probably somewhat of a mediocre blaster, and it was also one of the first to ever be released in the Super lineup during this whole entire year. We've got ourselves a grand total of 8 Super Blasters. This was released, then along came others like the Voltage, Triton, Turbine, Warden, Echo, Phoenix, and others here and there. This one though, out of all of them, I'd say, is a pretty decent pick because it may get some questionable performance, but maybe this time is a time for me to go on ahead and start talking about a few things about the Super lineup in general. This is in fact my first time bringing a Super Blaster into this whole entire part of the franchise, so of course there's quite a few things that I'm going to have to say about this. I got a feeling that, well, while this does try to be the second generation of the Elite lineup itself, there's little to no differences in some capabilities whatsoever. Because first of all, most of the blasters here were just simply recuts of certain blasters that we've had in the past. This one is much like that of both the Spectre Rev 5, for the fact that, well, it has this, and for the fact that it has a 6-dart cylinder. It kind of is like the Maverick, or basically the Rev series of blasters, like the Maverick, Icequake, Strong Arm, and so on and so forth. And the Voltage is simply put just another Nightfinder based blaster, and the Triton is basically just a triple barrel jolt blaster. And the Warden, of course, is much like a rough cut. I probably will talk a lot more about the others in the Super lineup, but maybe not for right now, because this one certainly does have a lot to be told. But in which case, I feel like that by now, I should probably talk a little bit about its functionality in general. Of course, it has this kind of priming mechanism, as well as this kind of cylinder system, but it also has itself quite a bit of tactical rails down here. There's one up here, which you can probably put up there for dart storage or scope or something like that. And down here where, again, you could probably do some things like that if you wanted to. But there's one underneath the grip as well, along with the guard, of course. The hand guard and grip both had the nice light gray sort of plastic that contrasts with the black and the teal and the orange. But this I mean, this isn't really the first time that I've found any strange placements for tactical rails on any blaster of whatever the sorts. But I feel like that this is, in fact, probably not the best idea that they could have come up with. Although, let's just take into account that, well, this thing also has itself a barrel adapter and a stock adapter. So, I could just put in attachments like so. I got the Sierra Major's barrel and stock both put into place, and you know what? It kind of looks more like your average rifle of some sorts. And speaking of which, I guess it's time for a little invisible test. So, let's just see how this does pretty well. If it does good or bad, I guess we'll find out. Oh wow. Now, that's a pretty good performance right here. I guess the Corrector's big factor that tends to be a redeemer is the fact that, well, I tend to find invisible integration within this blaster alone to be pretty decent in general. So overall, I guess my rating for this was going to be a little lower than expected, but due to this, I feel like I could raise it up at least a couple points. So, my original point score for the Elite Corrector, as in the Super Corrector and not Elite, because you probably know what I'm talking about, right? I was originally going to give the score to this blaster a 6.0, but I find it to be really darn good in terms of handling the invisible integration process, so that brings its score up to 7.0. Yeah. Now, if that's not awesome enough, I don't really know what is. But in any case, I feel like that this is, in fact, a good addition, and the fact that you can actually buy this for only $10. Especially at a Target. I mean, this is pretty much where I got it from. But in any case, I'm Jay Nowak, and this has been my talk about the Super Corrector Elite 2.0 Commander. I mean, you'll probably understand my gripes about that sort of situation when you go ahead and look back on some of my earlier Nerf Secret Reveal based content. But if you're looking forward to seeing new NSR based content, then, well, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.